I'd like to introduce our topic first, and it's going to be something totally different, brand new, you've ever heard before. So, in case you did not know, in the Korean education system, they go to public school, but then afterwards, they go to an additional school, but it's by a private institute, and you have to pay more, and you go to school for about 6 hours more. So your whole day is only school. And we're going to talk about, is this beneficial for their education, or is it too stressful and not really relevant to the education that's needed to be taught? First, and Christopher and Chang and myself will be the pros, and Edward and Robert and Janet will be the cons. First, Brother Christopher.
Thank you. Alright, so more Korean students graduate from high school, end up going to the university, graduating from university than most other students around the world. In comparison with the United States, 96% of Korean students graduate high school, only 75% from the U.S. Of those percentage, 83 students that are Korean go to the university, only 68% in the U.S. And out of those, 68% graduate from Korea, and only with a low number of 39% from the U.S. So as you can see, those are two major different numbers, and the sole factor is that the after-school programs help keep the students in Korea more focused and help keep their mindset on the right path so they don't get lost and lose sight of the common goal, and what that common goal is to give yourself the most opportunity for a successful life. So by going to these after-school programs, you're able to stay focused and maintain the right mindset. And with the U.S., we don't really have that because we go to school from 8 to 3, so much free time, we can do whatever, and most time we'll get lost and get off the right track. But with after-school programs, it helps keep us on the right track.
Okay, besides education, because obviously the Korean education is doing very well, because overall they're ranked #2, opposed to the United States, who's ranked 17th overall. So you can't really debate, is the education system working, because it's proof. But besides that, it does provide structure and stability for young minds. And I know from my personal experience in high school, and that's all I know, I can't talk about if the high school students liked it or not. But in my high school experience, I loved my high school, but it was easy. And after high school, you can just do whatever you want. You can go smoke weed and drink and have sex and rock and roll and all the good stuff, but all that stuff does not really help you. And as you can see, with the academies, to keep the students busy and on track. And for all the drug crimes in Korea, only 0.6% are committed by students. Opposed in the United States, and drugs are pretty rampant in the high schools. And the birth rates for teenagers are only 2.9 per 100,000, while in the U.S. it's 52 per 100,000. And then the murder rate in Korea it's 200 per 100,000, while the U.S. is 8,000 per 100,000. So by giving them additional time, like every single day, it's more than being babysat, but it provides structure, and where they have an opportunity to do things that they need to do, like study and progress for the future, opposed to digressing and doing drugs and having sex and all like that, and all the fun stuff, but the productive stuff. And I think this is important because a young mind is like a clump of clay, and it's just a piece of dirt. But with that clay, you can mold it and shape it, and it turns into a beautiful vase. But you have never seen a beautiful vase that has been instructed without human hands, or maybe someone's foot if they don't have hands. But someone has to make that vase.
Make that vase.
Along with being morally beneficial, these Hagwons are educationally beneficial as well. They provide an opportunity for students to learn a new language, second language, such as Chinese, Japanese, and of course English. And this is a contributing factor for students to become bilingual. When compared to the U.S., we're only required 1 year mandatory second language study. And from my experience, 1 year is not enough because the majority of us, we just forget the material we learn. And students who are in these institutions develop a more fluent writing and speaking capability due to their periods of study over time. And we study alongside with Korean students, and it's clear that these students show extensive foreign language study. And another reason why they're beneficial linguistic-wise is it better prepares them for the global economy. For example, with media becoming more global, it's almost impossible to find jobs nowadays without some sort of English knowledge. And so overall, these institutions provide a really great opportunity for them to learn a new language in order to become bilingual and prepare them for what's to come in the global economy.
Okay, so now I will start with the con arguments. I'm sure many of you have asked this question to your Korean friends. How long did you attend class every day in high school? Well, the answer has always shocked me, is from usually 8 in the morning till 10 at night. But how is all this time necessary? What do they really do during this time? Well, through research and testimonials, I have come to the conclusion that the system of private academies called Hagwons and the Korean education system in general is flawed through being inefficient and misguided. The main issue here is the style of teaching. The thing that they emphasize is memorization and repetition. And all of this comes from the college admissions process. To get into college in Korea, most of your hopes depend on one test that's given once a year. And then this is their one shot to get into a good college that will shape the rest of their life. So all of the school systems and the academies have to teach to that test. And so with this, all the importance is memorization, repeating, writing the same thing 100 times, and then repeating that. And there's no room for real critical thinking or creativity. And this does not necessarily lead to success or interest in higher education. According to the OECD Program for International Student Assessment, Korean students rank 2nd in the world in math skills, but only 31st in interest in learning math. Another shocking statistic by Dr. Samuel Kim at Columbia University is 44% of Korean students who enter top American universities drop out before graduating. But this is a much higher rate than students from China at 25%, India at 21%, and even American students at 34%. So essentially, all these years of tutoring prepare you for the college exams, but not really for higher education. And they are not left with the critical thinking skills to really succeed at a higher level in university and careers.
Okay, so I think that, I know that private academies in Korea are ineffective. And not only are they ineffective, but they're expensive too. So like for the rich families who have to pay to put their kids in the private academies, okay, they don't stress about it because they have the money. But what about the poor families who are forced to put their kids into the private academies because they don't want their kid out of the competition? You know what I mean? Like if they're going into colleges, but this kid hasn't gone to private academies and stuff like that, the people who did go to the private academies have a better chance. One of my friends I talked to, he said that he paid $420 a month for his school. So if you add that up for a year, which I didn't do, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of, I forgot about that. It's a lot of money. And so for the poorer families, they don't really have a choice to do. They don't really have a choice. They got to pay for that school, so yeah, that sucks. Also, the private academies take a toll on the students' health too. So it's expensive, and the kids the kid's not as healthy as it can be. So we go to school in America like from 8 to 3. My Korean friends said they went to school from like 6 to midnight. So with that much sleep, which isn't a lot, lacking in sleep, you can experience memory lapses, decreased concentration, and hallucinations. And if it's long-term, which in this case it is because they do this for years at a time, the student can experience fatigue, weakened immune system, and headaches. and lack of sleep has been linked to diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease like that.
Okay, so one of the cons of that in the academic system in Korea, it limits the students' ability to expand their life outside of school, leading towards an unhealthy and stressful environment with a lot of negative side effects. Here in Korea, an average school day for a student, especially high school and middle students, run from about like 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Then after that, they do self-study, and they don't really get a break. And they usually only sleep 5 hours per day, and this happens for years on end. So like Robert said, it takes a toll on the body, both physically and mentally. And due to the schools taking up most of the students' time, they don't have time to take care of their emotional, physical, and social health. And since they focus so much of the time on school, they have no time to make friends, learn how to cooperate, or interact with other people, which then they are thrust into a world requiring them to, with no proper preparation at all. They also have no time for personal growth, in which they have no time to figure out who they are and what their interests are, and what they want to do, what they like to do, and finally, they don't have time to take care of themselves physically. My suitemates describe the average high school student as ghosts because since they're studying so much, they don't sleep and they don't go out, they're pale and they look frail and skinny and tired. Yeah, so like I said earlier, this unbalanced and unhealthy lifestyle has a lot of negative side effects, one of which is the high suicide rates of students in South Korea. The Center for Freedom of Information and Transparent Society published that from 2007 to 2009, suicide is the leading cause of death among 15 to 24-year-olds, which in that is 13.2 people per 10,000 in 2007, 13.5 per 10,000 in 2008, 15.3 per 10,000 in 2009, which is a lot more than even car accidents. Car accidents like 9.7 in 2009 per 10,000 people, 9.2 people per 10,000 in 2008. And
Time.
and for